Welcome to another episode of Thrive Talks. It's your host Bikram. We got Drew and we got Jermaine. And today's topic is newness. So, for the first question, boys, I wanted to ask you guys, why are new experiences so important?
New experiences give you the template, as we've spoken of before in the past. You know, you make the attempt, whether you fail, whether you succeed. Now you have the experience, or you get to see exactly what this is like. It's going to give you a vibe. It's going to give you a feeling, and you're going to apply that feeling going forward. You're either going to know, okay, never again, or I know exactly what to do different next time. And that's the thing. Make the attempt, figure it out, and then next time you know how to approach it a lot better. So without trying something new, you'll never know. Simple as that.
Okay, good. What about you, Jay? Why do you think new experiences are so important?
It's critical because a lot of times, even growing up, is the lack of exposure, the lack of knowing. So when you get something new, you start to explore. Like I might have been a great musician, but never knew that. So imagine going years upon years and not exploring anything different and knowing, man, that was my talent then. So to me, you got to continuously explore different things. Newness is critical for growth. You know, we start going on a podcast. 5 years ago, did I ever think I was going to go on a podcast? No, I didn't. But now I enjoy it. So newness allows you the opportunity to start enjoying things. I remember I might have not even thought about videography, business, anything. But as I started to explore it, it was new, but then it became familiar. You know, you go and do something, you're like, man, I'm not even used to doing this. But then you're like, you know what, I'm embracing it.
Yeah.
I'm giving it a hug because this actually excites me because the newness actually is the thing that excites you. So just imagine yourself, when you're talking about newness, imagine yourself doing the same thing every day for the rest of your life. What's the joy? What's the new adventure? You know, as you start exploring different things, seeing different things, different thoughts become. Now you start talking to different people. As you start talking to different people, you can start getting different ideas. And you start to realize, man, like we have a lot of similarities. I might have been looking for someone like Drew. I might have been looking for someone like you. But if I was doing the same thing all the time, I would never find them. So newness is an opportunity to express yourself and for yourself to be the best that you can be. So it's so critical on every level to even say, okay, you know what? Let me go to Point Pelee. Let me go to Ojibwe. Let me take a ride. Let me take a walk. Because that's going to actually start helping you develop into the complete individual. Not a little singular individual, the complete individual. Because when you're talking about health, we're talking about experience, we're talking about anything, you're talking about holistic. Seeing different things and doing different things. As you see and do different things, you become a different you. So that's a new experience. That's an experience for me.
Yeah. Do you have something to say, Drew?
I just have something to add on. You know, when we were kids, we had a new class, new friends, new things all the time popping up, and we just naturally embraced it. But at some point, as we grow older, we stop doing it. And I think that people need to tap in to what kids are doing.
Yeah.
Because kids do it every day. And we take things for granted, I think.
Well, that's a good point. Without new experiences, you don't grow, right? Like if I didn't do this podcast, I wouldn't have grown into the speaker that I am today. And I'm learning so much from having that new experience. Or picking up a camera, same thing. It's vital because without newness, there is no growth. Without growth, there's no evolution. Without evolution, you're stuck in the same place and you can never really kind of get out of it. And for the second question, I wanted to ask you guys, how can routine and familiarity hinder your ability to grow?
I mean,
Keep going.
if you aren't,
Go ahead.
if you aren't taking care of things in your life, you're not in full control, you're not in the driver's seat, you're not taking care of your scheduling, not taking care of your responsibilities. It's going to show when you start slipping, when your product, whatever you offer, starts to go downhill. You start forgetting some very critical appointments with people. You know, we're only human. We can only keep up so much. But if we're unorganized on top of stressed out and everything, it's like a house of cards, and it starts with one thing and it ends with another. So that's the thing. You got to protect not only your energy, but to protect your schedule, protect your everyday, your hour to hour. Like every hour to me it's got to go a certain way or my whole day is thrown off.
Mm-hmm.
And if for those days that we all have where the hour doesn't go my way, I have already planned ahead in case that didn't go my way. So that way I can adjust. I know exactly what to do. I have to have a plan B, plan C, because if I don't, things will fall off.
Like my brother, he's very meticulous when it comes to his audio engineering, like super meticulous, and it has to go a certain way. And when I'm with him, we ain't recorded nothing because it has to go in such a way for his brain to computate it. We had another individual in the studio and we started recording, and it forced him to pick up something new. Like it put him in such a bind that he had to record in a new way and fast. And after we got done, he said, I'm so glad that happened because that actually forced him into a corner that made him grow. Like there's no other way to get around it. It made him grow. So sometimes I'm looking for things to go wrong. You know what I mean? My camera just shut off. Whatever. Let's go. I got my iPhone. I got something else. It's going to force me into a different corner. I might not be able to use the software. It's going to force me into a different corner. Sometimes I'm looking for, I'm not expecting anything and maybe I might not have planned ahead, but I'm looking for that situation that's going to, kind of let my wings grow a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like throw something at me. Jay would 3 videos. I need 3 videos in an hour and a half. I don't know what the hell I'm making. like where are we going with this? Figure it out. Figure it the hell out because you're going to need that skill. And that skill has gotten me. Now I can go hours on the computer and zone out completely and bring back something I never even thought I would have. But if I wanted things to go in such a familiar way, I would never have, developed that ability to bring something out of the unknown. You know what I'm saying?
Think about this. Every obstacle is an opportunity. Everything that goes bad, you have an opportunity to make it right.
Yeah.
Every problem, now you have a choice to have a solution. So when you're talking about a routine, and it's great to have a routine, but you must be flexible. You must be to adapt. On any given situation, you must be to change who you are for the circumstances that presents itself. That's very critical. So there'll be certain situations where I'll be the lead. Certain situations I'll be in the back. I can't always say, well, I'm used to always being the lead. No, you can't be used to anything. The person who's able to adapt the best will be the most successful. 100%. Because he has no boundaries. He has no limits.
Yeah.
When you have limits and you have boundaries, you already put a ceiling on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're capped. So I don't know what I'm going to be. So my routine is whatever it is, right? You may say, okay, you know what? I'm used to doing this and that's fine. That's great. But what if this goes wrong?
Right.
A good coach can adapt on the fly.
Has to.
He has to. He sees something not going right and now he adapts and he makes a change. If you look at even a lot of coaches, and I'm going to talk about coaches, talking about coaches as far as adapting. Some coaches, they can't even change anything until they get home. You already lost the game. Or they got to wait till the halftime because they can't think on their feet. The more obstacles you get, the more sometimes you'll be in a routine and sometimes you won't be in a routine. And you're able to adapt, to adjust, and to execute. You're dangerous. You're way more dangerous than the average human being who needs everything systematically. Because not everything is going to be systematic. Sometimes it may rain and you thought it was sunny, but you can't stop it. Sometimes you're like, well, you know what? I don't have the right camera, the right mic. Doesn't matter about the mic. It matters about you. So every time you got to look at every single time that my routine is messed up, it allows me the opportunity to figure out a new way for my routine. And it may be better.
Oh, yeah.
It may be better.
Now you're making new connections in your brain. Because if you're going the same way every time, the same route to work, you ain't learning nothing new. You ain't challenging your brain. Sometimes you need a roadblock. You know what I mean? You need to hit your friend with like, yo, which way do I go? Right? You need to take that new way to work. Now it expands your mind. Who knows what you're going to see on the way to work? right? You might see something completely new that sparks something completely
For
new,
sure.
right?
For example, it's like this. I'm used to coming here a certain path. Now that path is closed off. I never went the other way.
Mhm.
I didn't even know what the other way even looked like.
Mhm.
But it forced me now to not only know the path that I went, but it forced me to learn a new path as well. Because so if you think about life, it's almost like construction. You think it's going to be so smooth and I'm just going to go down this path and it's going to be easy. And then all of a sudden there's a roadblock. Then it's like, okay, what do I got to do?
Mm.
Do I turn around and not get to the destination, or do I figure out a way? Life, you have to figure it out a way. So I was talking to somebody today and we were talking about, I said, you know why I was losing? I was losing the game of life. They're like, no, you weren't. I said, I was. I said, you know how I'm winning? Because I changed the rules.
Yeah.
These are my rules now. I said, I couldn't be as successful as I was going to be playing by their rules because I had to go their steps. I had to wait for them to hire me instead of saying, I'm going to hire myself. I'm going to create my own job. I'm going to create a podcast. We're not waiting to, oh, can we go on your podcast? No, we'll make our own. Oh, can you do this? No, we'll make our own. Make your own table. So then you can serve whatever you want. And then you can eat as much as you want. And then if you choose to eat something else, you can. But when you're at someone else's table, you're going to always lose. So life is about adapting. If I did the same thing that I was doing 3 years ago, I wouldn't be in this position right now.
Right.
Because I was going down the same path and doing the same thing daily.
Mhm.
And I had no joy. I had no excitement. I had no exuberance. I had nothing. Why? Because it was the same thing over and over. So in life, you must think about, if this is not working, what do I do now? What do I do? Well, I can't get a job. Well, find one. Don't find one, make one. That's even better. You know what? I don't like those wings. I'm going to make some. Like my man Drew, he was competing against a lot of people in the city. And guess what? Now he's with them. But if he went their path underneath them, he would have never got there. So it was necessary. It was necessary for you to take a different direction. It was necessary for you to take that detour because that detour led you to a different path. That's life. Don't play by the rules. You make your own.
Bam.
And then you don't lose.
And there's a couple things I want to add on. As far as the wings go, a lot of people along the way told me, hey, you should do this, you should do that. And if I had listened to every single one of those people, I would have been anywhere near where I'm at now. So, you know, it's important to trust your instincts and understand and believe in what you've done and what you've been doing. If you have a vision, then don't listen to anybody else's vision. You listen to your own. And to add on to adapting, we watch the mother of birds. What do when they want their young to fly? They push them out the nest. And naturally that bird flies because it's survival. It kicks in. It's the instinct. And so sometimes life is going to hit you and you just got to adapt, like he was saying. And in those moments, that's where you take flight. That's where your wings come out. And another thing, I got 3 rap songs that I've already put out. 2 of them with my daughter, 1 by myself, which was pivotal because that marked like the first time I was by myself doing it. It came a long way. But I remember the first day when I was too scared to grab the mic and rap, was in a basement in Detroit with my brother-in-law and his homies. And, you know, rest in peace, Adam. He's gone now, but he pushed me. Dude, I believe in you. I know you could do it. Because he sees like things that I can do like behind the scenes, but when it's in front and center, I'm always like, I don't want to. But he gave me that confidence. And when I did that one day, it wasn't the greatest, but I had 4 random dudes that lived a totally different life in Detroit. They were feeling it. And so that brought me, when I came home, I had the confidence, and it was a seed. And it took years, but I kept writing and I kept planning and going forward and taking chances. And then once I made that first song with my daughter, man, I was like, I can't believe I was in this basement in Detroit and I was scared. And now here I am with my daughter on the track. So we have to take those chances.
Now, and I'm going to add on to that.
Yes, sir.
Right? Because I'm feeling good today, right? And it's I'm gonna go back. Okay, when I was diagnosed with cancer, and I had a meeting today with a couple people, and he's like, "We're gonna switch cancer to being bad, from being bad to can serve. You can serve,
Love it.
right? You can." So instead of saying it ain't called can't serve, it's called can serve, right? So a lot of things you have the ability to do. It's already in you.
Yeah.
But you got to let it grow. And then you got to water it.
Mm.
And then you got to put the sun on it. And then that's going to grow into who you are as a person. So when I look around people, I said, I like to make people better because I know what seed that they are. And I'm just going to help them plant it. And as we plant it, I'm going to let them grow because that's who they are. But they can't see it. He's seen something in you. He made you better. He made you come out your comfort zone. And then by him making you come out your comfort zone, you realize who you were. You're like, you know what? I have confidence. Man, maybe I can do this thing. For sure you can. Because he believed in you. Because he said, you can, sir. That's
I
what he
like it.
said. I can, sir.
I was listening to another podcast, and they're talking about the trip to the moon, right? And it looked like a straight line, but it wasn't. It was jagged edges. Like they were going up, down, up, and they had to continually make adjustments for them to make it to the moon. So it was never a straight line. You guys are completely right. There's going to be obstacles. You're going to fall on your face, but it's about how you kind of get back up. One of my favorite quotes is, hurl yourself into the abyss and find out it's a feather bed. You know what I mean? And it's so beautiful because a lot of the times we're scared of that new experience. We're scared of getting on the mic, and now obviously we're more accustomed, or we're scared of putting that track out, or we're scared of putting that video out, or making that post, or whatever it is. But just hurl yourself into the abyss.
Yeah.
Just find out.
And the thing is, little things, you could overthink little things, and then they become big things.
Yeah.
For example, my license expired maybe 6 months ago. It did. Like I barely even looked at it. Right? You never look at the license. But when I went to get my my treatment, lady's like, yeah, your health card expired. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't really notice it. But then the thing is, I started even overthinking it and saying, maybe they're going to take away my license. Right? I was thinking this. Like, I'm like, maybe they're going to take it away. Because maybe, I don't know, right?
Yeah.
Like it's been 6 months after, and it's like maybe I got to start from the beginning again. So I'm like, dang, I was basically thinking all these things that would go wrong.
Right.
All these things, like, man, maybe they're going to take my license away. I got to start from the beginning again. And I didn't really want to face that. And even though it's little, but I didn't really want to face it. And then I'm like, so yesterday, I was supposed to go to the gym. Well, I went to the gym, but I'm like, you know what? I can't go to the gym because I'm actually delaying the thing that I'm supposed to do.
The license?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? I'm like I'm trying to work out, but delay this. But this, really, the license is the most important because that's really on my mind right now.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I was going to drive, so I'm going to Crunch. So I'm like, nah, I just got to go to the license place. And then when I went there, first of all, I thought it was going to be packed. There was nobody in there. I went up there and they're like, all right, paid him, whatever. And that was
Easy
it.
process.
It was easy process,
Yeah.
right? But me, I was overthinking and thinking, oh man, this is going right. I'm thinking everything that may happen.
Right.
And I'm like, this cost me to think about this for 2, 3, 4 days. And when I went there, I was like, that was it?
Yeah.
Man, like, so what it teaches you is to quit procrastinating. Do things when it's on your mind and get it out the way.
Yeah.
Because even when you don't do them and you try to block them out, it's still weighing on you. You're still thinking about it because you're like, man, I know I got to get this done, but dang, what's going to happen? Maybe. And a lot of times what you're thinking, you're conjuring in your head is not the truth.
Most times.
Most times. So you're like, oh man, they're going to laugh at me. And they're not. They might actually be like saying like, man, you're really good.
Mhm.
But you're thinking things that may go wrong. So it stops you from being who you are because you're like, well, you know what? Like, just like when you said about getting a mic. You're thinking maybe
You're gonna think I suck.
I'm gonna think I suck. But then you realize you're like, bro, why was I scared of this? I was scared of something that didn't really exist.
Yeah. And I think what really gave me the confidence to even start was just watching how much fun everybody else was having doing it. Just relax, you know, just enjoy yourself. Because even if you screw up, you just keep going. Just keep going. And that's one thing, like now when I'm with my cousins and we do freestyle and mess around, when somebody screws up, they just keep going. They don't stop and ponder on the mistake they just made. They just enjoy life.
And that's a great point for life.
Yes.
Don't dwell on a mistake. Learn from it and keep going.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of us, we stop.
Yeah.
We have a mistake, we stop, we get discouraged, but we got to keep going. And a lot of times, when you make a mistake, no one knows you made it.
Exactly. That's another thing.
No one knows you made it. So you're like, you can make a mistake. Say if I'm doing something, I make a mistake, and I'm just like, yo, man, that's what I wanted to do. Right? Because only person that knows who made a mistake is you.
Right.
If you keep going on and carry on about it, it wasn't a mistake. It was planned.
Right.
Somebody could fall. Say if you slip on the ground, you
I
fall.
love that.
Well, you can act like that's what you wanted to do.
Yeah. No, it's so crazy. We're talking about this back in the Facebook podcast days, but like Coke was made by accident. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes like the worst things happen, but it ends up being the best thing. I got to shoot tomorrow and my camera's tripping out. And this is it's a shoot that I don't want to miss a moment on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's going to happen, but I know it's going to work out. I'll let you guys know by next week.
Yeah.
Right? I have a question though for you guys, because it's crazy. We all have these thoughts. Whenever we're going for a new experience, there can be some weight on your shoulder, a little dark cloud, like maybe, I don't know, like the license thing or the mic thing or, you know, the photography thing, whatever's on your mind. And then we all have to battle this inner voice and go, you know what, screw it. I'm going to do it anyway. Or some people, you know what I mean, they let it get in their way and they chill out. I believe it definitely started so long ago when there was actually real threats, like real tigers, real lions. Now we have to be afraid. So otherwise our life gets lost. But in 2023, we don't have the same, I'm not worried for my life. You know, some people are, but I'm like in the life I live, you know, God bless, everything's good. And I'm not worried about my life. I'm more worried about, if anything, is expressing myself, is doing the things I say I'm going to do, is just, you know, acting on my dreams and my wishes and making those things come a reality. My question to you guys is, why do we have those feelings come up that try to stop you from doing that new experience?
I think, you know, like I say this, like someone might be thinking, and I'm not going to, like, somebody might be thinking, you know what, this guy, he's super calm. He got it all. He know what he's doing. I just know how to manage it. Right?
Inside you go, nah.
Yeah. Right? Inside you might be like, oh shit. Like, you might be scared as hell. But you know how to deal with it.
Right.
So I'm gonna give you an example. I'm gonna give you an example of how you deal with something. 7 years old. We're about to play we're playing and we're in the championship game. It's my first time ever.
You're 7.
7.
Okay.
You know, I'm playing on a team, and it's on my uncle's team, and the kids are like 11 years old, 12. I'm just a young boy, right? And I'm like, so I've never been in a championship game before, and they have, because they won multiple times previously. So the championship's here. My stomach is just I got the butterfly. I'm scared, right? I'm scared. No, I ain't never been in this moment. And I'm like, man, I don't want to let the team down. No, I'm just scared. And then I tell my uncle, I said, I don't know if I can play today, man. Right? And he's like, what do you mean? I said, what's going on? I said, man, I don't know my stomach. He's like, man, suck that shit up. And I said, okay. And then he's just like, that ain't nothing but butterflies. That means you want to win. Feel that.
Love that.
You want to win,
Love that so much.
right? Because if you didn't want to win, you wouldn't even feel it.
Yeah.
So that's the feeling that you need to have right now.
Love it.
So he
much.
made me embrace the feeling. It's like, yo, that's what I'm supposed to be doing.
Mm.
And he said, you know what? After the ball is pitched, it ain't gonna matter no more. And after the ball is pitched, it didn't matter no more.
Mm.
And I knew, you're right. Everybody gets these feelings.
I love that.
Everybody gets the disappointing feelings or the scared feelings because that's human nature. But what do you do with those feelings? And that game, I ended up playing really well. But if he didn't give me that push, I would never showed up. You know what I'm saying? I'll be honest. I would have been at home with holding my stomach and acting like I was sick because I thought I was. We said, that's just the feeling that you have. He said, not only is that the feeling that you have, but that's the championship feeling. So if you're feeling that, you're feeling the right thing.
Yes.
So I always thought about those moments every time before. I said, am I nervous? I said, yo, I got that championship feeling. I got it. I got that championship feeling. Instead of thinking, I don't want this feeling. No, I actually embraced it. I want it. Because if I'm doing something that actually scares me, I'm actually doing the right thing. You got to do something that actually scares you. You can't do the same thing. You got to be like, man, this dream is so big that I'm actually frightened. Well, you got the right dream. And if you don't feel that way, you're downplaying. Oh, it's easy. It's going to be easy. I don't have to really try that hard. Because what is the most rewarding thing? When you overcome something that you couldn't do.
Mm.
That's when you feel the sense of victory. That's when you put your hand up. When you're going into a championship fight, two fighters are fighting. One guy's more dominant than the other. He knocks the other guy out because he wasn't in the class. He doesn't feel good. I was supposed to do that. But beat someone that you're not supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got the hand raised way up in the air and said, I did that. And that's the feeling that you need to be having every day. So when an obstacle comes your way, that's a chance to be victorious. That's a chance to slap away that obstacle and raise your damn hand and be the champ. Because you don't get the champ. You don't need to be, you ain't gonna be the champ beating a bunch of bumps. You be the champ because you beat someone that had the same mentality as you.
Bam.
So your will, you actually outwilled his will. You were relentless. So when I'm talking about anything I'm doing right now, I made a declaration to myself. I don't care what obstacle comes my way. Let it come. Because if it's coming, it's going to be a big, big reward. Because if you think about it, obstacle's here. You have an obstacle, it's here, this level. Or your goal is here. Your obstacle's way up here. Your goal is way up here. It's going to a line. So most people, I don't want to go through it. I don't want to go through it. Now, if you don't go through it, then how you going to get to where you need to get to? The top of the mountain is a hard ass fight, a struggle to get up there. No one claps their hands when you climbed up a molehill. They gonna clap their hands when you climb Mount Everest.
It's polarity. Like you need it. You need the left. You need the right. You need the up. You need the down. The bigger the triumph, the bigger the victory. Like the bigger the mountain, the bigger the triumph. So you definitely need that other push. Otherwise, just like Jay said, you're not doing the right thing. I just see a tree. The bigger the tree, the bigger the shadow.
Right.
You're going to have to fight that resistance or get over that resistance in order to get to where you need to go. And that's how you know you're doing the right thing. Like you said last episode, Drew, I believe you said the last thing you want to do is the first thing you should do, right? Because it's pointing you, that inner compass is pointing you towards the right direction.
You figure this. How would you have felt if you did your wings, you got second. How would you feel if no one's in it? That was good.
I feel like trash.
No, it would be like, it would diminish.
As a matter of fact, the whole feeling of, I still feel a sense of victory because who am I among?
Exactly.
I'm among kings.
Exactly.
I'm among big time, players that are established.
Exactly.
So it feels so much better to be a part of that. And yeah, if they were just, Joe Blows or whatever, I wouldn't even have posted it, to be honest.
Right? That's what I'm saying. So the bigger the obstacle, the bigger the reward.
Right.
Because I never took satisfaction beating a team that I know I was supposed to beat.
Right.
Because what is the victory in that? I took satisfaction beating the team I wasn't supposed to beat. Because it's like, man, you did that. We didn't think you could.
Mm-hmm.
That's the victory. The challenge is competing amongst the best. And amongst the best, they went through obstacles. And if you went through obstacles, you're now battle tested.
And you need the battle to even feel good.
Right.
That's the craziest part. Like, if it's easy, it ain't for you. Like, in this universe, in this world we live in, it has to be difficult. Like, at points, it has to challenge you. It has to make you think in different ways. It has to have you backed into a corner. And now you think in new things. Your brain makes new connections, and you finally, expand out of who you've been to who you're going to be.
Think about this. I was coaching my team. This was back when I was coaching my team. So we're playing this Toronto team. And they're a pretty good team. And we're trapping them, pressing them, and we got up 20 points. And then they came back. And then we got up 20 points again. They came back again.
Mm.
And the team comes over, we call it timeout, the team comes over to me and it's like, man, they won't give up. I said, good. It's funner.
Mm-hmm.
I said, we're going to slap shit out of them. So we're going to slap shit out of them. We want them to fight back. It ain't fun if they didn't fight back.
Right.
That's the whole thing. We got to take their will. We're going to take their will from them because we know they're going to fight back. But we're going to snatch the will from them. Because it ain't no fun if we slap them and they didn't get back up.
Those are the best victories.
The best victory is when you slap them, they go down the ground, they come back up, you slap them again. That's the best victory. Because you don't slap them with
double slap.
Yeah, you slap them with the front, you slap them with the back, you just slapping them.
You throw everything at them.
But it would have never been fun if that team had no heart to not come back. So I took it as like, man, I was actually happy. They're like, man, they came back. I was smiling. I was like, yeah, because guess what?
Yeah.
We're gonna get a chance to slap them again.
Yeah. Now you gotta fight. Right?
Now we gotta fight.
You watch a fight where one guy just rocks the other guy first minute, you're like, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if it's a war, you're like, let's go, because you feel the emotion of both individuals. You feel the challenge. The bigger the challenge, it's round 5. There's only 30 seconds to go, and the intensity's all the way up. And you know whoever's gonna win is gonna go, I did it. I freaking did that shit. You know what I mean? That's powerful, and we need it. It's actually necessary.
We need it. We need resistance.
Yep.
Resistance now you become the best you can be.
You need adversity.
You need it. If it was easy, do you even feel good? No, you wouldn't feel good. You knew where you had to come from. You knew that when you did those wings, look where I came from. Look what you had. Imagine if I had what you had. Because if I had what you had, I would have been won this. We already know that. We had to make it fair. When I go to the gym, same thing. I got obstacles all the time. Oh, you got cancer. I said, no, I can't, sir. Right? Do that one. Cancer. Right? So when I'm at the gym, I got obstacles. But I said, if I didn't have any obstacles, it wouldn't be fair.
It's actually making you great.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Before the cancer, you know what I mean?
Yes.
You were like, what's the point of life?
Yes.
After the cancer, you're like, yo, I know what I got to do.
Exactly.
Because now I know what to fight. I see the obstacle in front of my face God gave me and be like, I'm ready.
And for some people, all they need to do is see it. And once they see it, it's a wrap.
Right.
It's already a done deal.
Yeah.
That's it.
What was your question? So I can get my answer in.
My question, well, I was kind of going off the
Yeah,
cuff.
it was something about why do you think people...
Oh, yeah. So why do you believe people have that resistance feeling inside them when they're having a new experience? Like they have doubts, they have fears that come up when they're trying to do something they're meant to do or have a dream of doing.
First of all, I think that's perfectly natural human behavior. I think it's completely 100% necessary. And they have that because fear of the unknown. We all have fear of the unknown. When you don't know it, you're just going to be worried because you're thinking like he was worried about the driver's license, but all it took was a simple visit and a payment or whatever it is, and it's done. It's a wrap. It's behind him and it's unloaded from his mind now.
Yes.
And that's how life works. Make the attempt, find out what's going on, see where you stand, and then make adjustments from there. People freak out beforehand and then they lose the game before they even decided to show up on the court.
For sure.
And so another thing, I was part of a big championship game myself as a goalie, and this game was hyped because there was scouts in the stands, and it was such a big deal. We ended up going to overtime, and I lost, and I felt like so down, man. I felt like I just lost everything that would mattered to me. But one of the parents, the players' parents, said to me after the game, he's like, "Don't you get it? They all saw what you did today. Doesn't matter if you won or lost. You're on the map now. The tide has changed." And when he said that to me, man, I came back the next year. I was a beast. Like it planted a seed in my head, and I realized that he was right. It's okay. It doesn't matter the result. What matters is you showed up, you gave it your all 100%, and then you left and took what you did and applied it the very next time you came out. And that's what's important.
Yeah, because you got to think, man. You know, me, I coached a lot of years, and
I was just about to talk about that.
and there's some
I swear to
and there's
God.
some people, man. I beat the hell out of them.
Yeah.
I did. Right, I beat the hell out of them. See if I can, if they go take some more.
Do you have any remorse?
No.
No, not at all. Right. But the thing is, the teams that I did respect was even when I tried to beat them down, they kept fighting.
Yeah.
They earned my respect.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter about the score or not, because I'm like, they got heart, because most people would have been quit already. So it's not about the result. That's what people get confused with. It's not about the result. It's the effort.
Yeah.
Why do some people have a will and others don't? And let me expand on this, because I know you've coached some players that you put through hell and they came back and they actually became something greater. Then you have players that got, that kind of succumbed to the pressure of what was around them, and that actually worked in the opposite way. It didn't really help them, and you kind of mapped out their life from there. Like, this is what happened. This is what happened. This is why they. Why are players so different? Why are some players and some people have a will to go through it, and other people are scared and go, you know what, I'm gonna stop here.
I think a lot of, like, it comes down to our coaching when we're kids. It comes down to experiences when we're kids, because a lot of these behaviors when we're adults, they're carried from our childhood. So you take a kid that got thrown in the fire and learned real quick, what it feels like to get burnt, and he adjusted his whole life, and then now he's an adult. He's going to take the same approach with situations. So I think a lot of these things can be actually controlled and leveled out young. That's why you see travel kids that play travel instead of house league. They're at a better place when they're adults playing the same sport. Their game is crazy. Their level of taking on challenges and competing is crazy. But the person that has always been in the lower league and never ever saw what it's like to level up, they're probably going to be faced with so much adversity at points in their life where they're either going to give up or they're just going to stop trying. And I think that it's very important for us to always, you got to figure it out.
Right.
You got to figure out where you stand.
So do you feel like you can raise someone to have a dog in him? Or do you feel like some people have it and some people don't?
Absolutely. But you can also destroy your kid or a child. So you see those the coaches that have a kid on the team, they're a parent, but they're also a coach. Those kids, they never do that great because they have so much extra pressure on them, and it follows them home. And so they're always feeling like, oh, if I don't make dad proud, I let the team down. And that's like self-destruction. Those kids, they tend to have more problems that they keep inside. They don't talk about. They don't have a good support system. Then you might find that they're the type of adults that just can't figure it out. They don't have the will.
Yeah, man. It's I talk about, when you talk about, dude, can you get the dog out of someone? And to my answer is that everybody has a dog in them. Everybody. Just in the wrong sport. They're doing the wrong thing. Everybody is a dog when they're doing what they like to do. But we associate being a dog with sports. Oh, you could be a dog photographer. That guy's a beast. That guy could be a dog videographer. Damn, he's a beast. But we associate a dog with sports, our physical. You could be a dog mentally. Somebody could be more physically imposing than you, but you might be more of an animal than him.
Bam.
In your mind. So I say sometimes it's not that they're lacking a dog, they're lacking a thing that they find purpose in. In order for you to fight for something, you got to want it. And sometimes you just don't want it. So it's like someone could say, well, you're not a dog in hockey because I ain't never played and I don't care. But I ain't know I'm a dog. That's not something that I'm trying to aspire to. So sometimes we look at a person, we say, well, they just don't have a dog in them. No, they just haven't found what they have passion for. When you find what you have passion for, you won't have to encourage someone to keep going because they'll be like, I just want to keep going.
I love how you brought it back to just trying new things, right? End of the day, if you aren't a dog in whatever you're doing the wrong thing. So try new things and find it, and it will find you. And if you ain't failing, you ain't trying. Failing is a new experience. Thought of that right now. Failing is a new experience. So sometimes you do need that failure in order to jumpstart your whole system and actually attack something you want to do. It's actually really simple. It's really simple.
You got to find something to fight for. Point blank. You know, what made me activate myself, you know, when I was playing sports, I was always activated. So I wanted to just kill. And then I didn't play sports no more. It might have looked like I wasn't a dog no more to the public. Maybe he's not. He don't got no motivation either. He don't got no ambition either. Like it kind of dwindled. But then when I found the cancer thing, I said, I got something to go for now. So it's like, man, that guy's an animal. I've been an animal, but I ain't had something I wanted to get to. So when you find your passion and your purpose, you're going to become something that you're supposed to be. Like it's going to ignite you. So it's like if I'm doing a podcast, man, if I'm talking about something I don't like, well, I might just be dull.
Right.
But if I'm talking about something that I have passion for, someone doesn't have to say, man, show some passion because this is my purpose. You know, when you see a person, you could see a lady might be abused and went through a bunch of crap in her life. But when she has a purpose, say she's like, I got to do this for my kids. You better look out. You better look out because she's like that. Now she's that mama bird that like, I'm going to tear your ass up. You know what I mean? I'm going to tear you up. Anybody in my path that messes with my kids or messes with anything that I'm doing, I'm going to show you what I'm about. So someone could be like, well, that person's not a dog. Mess with something that they love. You'll see. They'll get real vicious real quick because now they're protecting what they find theirs. That's the critical component. Find something that you love. Yeah. And that dog is always going to come up.
You brought up a good point about like if the subject of the podcast isn't really your thing, you might be a little dull. But the thing is, I always find that it doesn't matter what you're doing. As if you're having fun, the dog is there. It can come out at any time, and it will probably click in eventually, as long as you're having fun. So it doesn't matter what the subject is. We're always having fun when we do this.
Always.
So it's just going to be three dudes having a conversation, and we're gonna do it up. You know what I mean?
For sure. That's and that's why I said just when I look at certain individuals, they just haven't found what they love.
Yeah.
You know, that dog doesn't protect the home if he doesn't care about the home. So you might be like, that's not a dog. He didn't care about the home. That's why he's letting them in.
Yeah, and like stuff like age and stuff is like stopping people from trying new things. They feel like they got to be somewhere at a certain age. If they're not, man, I should stick to, you know, this 9-to-5 job is paying me $60K a year. Screw it.
And that's why age should never be a measurement.
And the thing is, it's all old shit. It's old thinking. It's not new thinking.
Exactly.
It's like you know, when I was a kid, I remember when I started rapping, I was like, you know, I was in young, 19, whatever, 18, 16. Then I got a little older. I was like 23. Like, I better get to it soon. Everybody's like, classic album came before 30. Like, I was tripping out, bro. I was like, yo, if I don't make this shit before 30, I'm done. Like, everybody just dwindles. And then you see people like Jay-Z coming out with 444, or you see, you know, Kanye doing his thing, or you see, you know, Jay Electronica doing this thing. There's so many people that are actually doing the thing at an older age. I just seen there's Fudja saying he just ran he's 100 and some still running marathons and stuff. It's crazy. You know what I mean?
The limits are what you place on your own head.
Yeah.
And what people place on you and you accept.
Exactly. Because someone could say, well, why are you guys doing this? Because this is what I think we should do.
Yeah.
This is what I want to do.
Right.
You know, you can't put those limitations of someone else that is not pursuing their dream. How can you teach me how to pursue when you won't pursue anything that you want to do?
Right. And there's a first time for everything.
There's a first time for everything. You're scared to go for your dream, but you're telling me that I'm doing the wrong thing by going for mine.
Watch out for that shit. I saw you post something about that.
Those are dream killers.
I saw you post something about that. You
Yes.
said people close to you be thinking like that. They be trying to kill your dream
For sure.
whatever reason.
And sometimes the people in our circle, they don't even realize that they're doing that.
Yeah.
It's just like an inclination. Like another word that what I could use, I could dust off real quick, is proclivities. If you don't know what that is,
I think we need a new segment. I got to pull the dictionary out. Word of the podcast. Thrive word of the day.
The things that people tend to do, their behaviors, they're inclined to think this way. They're inclined to behave this way. They're inclined to only go this far because that's who they are. Those are proclivities. And I think proclivities also play a big part in people giving us the support and that push, believing in us, and also telling us, no, I got to kill your dream real quick. I gotta let you know that you ain't gonna amount to what you think, and you're wasting your time, and you got to do things this way and not that way. And it's like the whole time it's coming from a person who is insecure, who has not balanced his proclivities, and has not even made the attempt on doing shit with their life. So that's where you have to look at things like, what have I done? What have they done? Okay, shut up, done, moving on. You know what I mean?
No, because it's these. Be careful with people saying it's unreasonable.
Yeah.
Unreasonable. Come on, let's be realistic.
Yeah.
You know,
that happens a lot.
When you hear that, you got to get away from them. You definitely, because that's what people will say. It's unreasonable. It's unrealistic. It's this. It's that. But a person who's done it, they're not going to say that.
Right.
They're not going to say that. They're going to be like, you know what?
I was where you were at.
I was where you were at, and I had some crazy dreams too, and no one believed in me. And look where I am now. They're going to be like, you can do it.
Yeah.
But the person that hasn't done it or can't do it will tell you can't do it.
Right.
Just like all the challenges in our past from teams or whatever situation, we also have to embrace when those people do that, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to derail you. And if you could take that challenge, embrace it, and battle it anyway, they're going to try to plant a seed. It's your responsibility in that moment not to let that seed grow, not to let it grow.
No, you're on the money. I'm sure I was going to say earlier, Jay probably looks for players that have been through some shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you've never been through no shit, it's going to be like, yo, he's probably going to be soft. He probably don't got it. You need that. And that's the bigger the challenge, the bigger the reward. And so, just bring it on. You know what I'm saying? Just bring it all on. I'm ready. So cool. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I had another question for you guys. And it was about embracing newness and stability, right? So we're talking, this whole episode, we talked about having, newness in your life and why it's so important. But there's another opposite to that. Just like how, there's opposite to left and rights. The opposite is stability. So how do you find that middle ground between trying new things and also having like a stable life, and you're actually doing the same things over and over again to get better results?
That's a loaded question.
That's all I'm coming with.
I feel
man.
like we answered that already, but I don't want to repeat myself.
Thing is, it's like, make sure you're structured.
Yeah.
Make sure you get the structure right.
Yeah.
Right? My structure is solid. Now, if I'm building a 10-story building, but my first floor is solid.
I love that. That's so
you
true.
know, and then the things that I'm going to experiment is going to add on top of the structure. But the structure must be implemented. So you may have a daily routine. Yes, you do. And you need one to be efficient. But then you need to challenge yourself as well. So it is a fine line. You can't just stay in one zone. You can't be all stable. You can't be all unstable. Because if you don't have no stability, then where's your structure? It's going to fall and collapse.
It's so sick.
So you got to make sure, spend a lot of time building that structure, your fundamentals, your foundation, whatever it is that you need, that you can stay on. And then, you know what? Now it's time for me to grow. So it's like Kyrie Irving. Everybody, oh man, I want to dribble the ball like Kyrie Irving. I'm going to do the Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving did the basics first. You're seeing him explore and expand his reach. But he has the foundation first. Because without the foundation, the building will fall. So you can do all these other things on top of it. No, bro, let's get the foundation proper.
You got no roots.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So all of it, it's like everybody's looking at the tree that's so high in the air.
It's just
But you forgot where it started from.
It's just as big down there.
It's just as big down here.
Yeah.
The deeper the roots, the stronger the roots, the stronger the foundation. Do not compromise your foundation because you keep doing new things. You've established yourself doing your foundation, right? You've done that. You've done it well. Don't throw it away.
Right. It's like we renaming the podcast every week.
Yeah, like
it's like, where can I find you? Just look this up for this episode, this one for this episode.
there's time to do this. See this when we talk about balance. There's time to do certain things, explore.
Yeah.
But there is time to do things that you're familiar with.
Yeah.
It can't be all unfamiliar.
It's so crazy because I the foundation line hit me a lot. Like even for example, if I'm trying to do be a rapper, I'm trying to do just for sake of stand-up comedy, I'm trying to do wings, I'm trying to do some of these things I do myself too, right?
Seems like you're naming my life.
I was just saying, like, it's for me personally, I want to do music. Sometimes I want to do videography. I want to travel. I want to do business. Sometimes I'll be like, Jay, like, I want to go with you, bro. Like, you'd be like, nah, bro, just do your thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, just you do yours, I'll do mine. And sometimes I'm on phone with Jay. Jay's like, focus. You know what I mean? Get back. You know what I mean? Focus. You know what I mean? Like, focus. Because if, some things are the most important and those are your foundation. I believe in mastering something first. If I don't go master videos, how the hell am I trying to master something else? I can have a hobby, sure. I can try new things for sure. But make sure you're coming back to that one thing because that compounds. That compounds. And then you can try that one thing a million different ways too. Videography is so large. Like music videos, wedding videos, documentaries, podcast videos, graphic design, Blender, 3D design. There's so much visual components inside of videography that I could try a new thing every day and still be like so low,
Right.
And like have just the world to explore.
There's room for growth, room for expansion.
It's like, when I coached my team, and we used to go by the KISS method. And the KISS method was keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple. Do what you do, but do it at a high level. Quit jumping back and forth, doing everything at average. So it's like when he's like, calls me the other day. And he's like, hey, man, we talking about this and with the Chris. And he's telling me about Chris. And let's try to do this. I said, bro, not right now, man. I get it. You have the excitement, exuberance. But let's just stay on track.
Yeah.
Right? Let's really get to it and master one thing. And at the beginning, I understand we had 1,000 things going. And it was by design. But we're narrowing on the target. So we cannot start opening it back up again.
That's so real, man.
Yep.
You can eventually, but you first have to get to the goal.
Yes.
Then you get that wave flow.
Yes.
Then you go in and out a little bit more.
Yes.
You don't want to get to a great place at your worst version or not your best version, right?
You see these people, man. The guy that made Complex, he built that Complex. He sold it. That's it. He made his bag, 150 mil, whatever it is, sold that shit, and now he's on to the next one.
Right.
But if he quit halfway, bro, there'd be no Complex, there'd be no bag, there'd be no nothing.
It's man, we used to play teams, right? This is a lot of my coaching experience, but we used to play teams, and they were like, they got these presses, these plays, this, that. I said, but what do you do well? What?
Shit, I forgot what I talked.
Right? So you get to the point and you say, what did you do well?
Yeah.
Green Bay Packers back in the day, they had like 3 or 4 plays, but they did them well. And then you got people that got 50, ain't getting nothing done.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit. But what are you good at? That's the whole thing. Master that. You'll gain confidence. You'll gain confidence because you actually completed something. You must complete something in your life. You can't always start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. Oh, I'm gonna try this now. Did you even go through with the other thing that you said you're going to go through? No. So why are you starting something new? Learn that. Master that. You'll know that you can go through that, then go on to another thing and master that. We're not saying we're never going to get to it.
Right.
But certain times it's like, what is the most important thing to do right now? And you got to look at, you got to have a system in place. 1 to 10. What's the number one thing that I need to get done before I can be successful in the meantime? And then you have the 10, it's like the long-term projection.
Yeah.
You got to always think about, what do I need to do now so I can be successful later? Don't do the things later that you should be doing now, right? You got to focus on the task at hand. So when somebody has 1,000 things going, you got to say, what's the most important? What's my goal? Because if not, I'm running in a circle. I'm doing 1,000 things and I'm doing it at an average level. No, do one thing great. They'll recognize that. Then do the next thing great. And they'll recognize that. And they'll be like, everything this man touches is going to gold. Everything he's touching. And you might only did 2 things, but they'll recognize you as those 2 things that you did are going to gold.
Yeah.
But if you're doing 50 things, they're like, ain't nothing he does is good.
Yeah.
He does a lot, but they ain't shit.
Yeah, what's a master of none?
He's the master of none.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is a balance. It truly is. And I feel like one thing that we do got to mention is the intuition part. Because you're going to have to listen to your intuition and you're going to have to fall down. You're going to have to learn. You might try 100 things, but if your intention is the right place, you're going to eventually go, damn, I ain't getting anywhere. We got a visitor.
This is all over the place, man. It's all over the place.
It's rated. Anyway, so I gotta take this guy. Take this guy downstairs.
Yeah, take him downstairs.
You know what? This is fine because this is reality. Sometimes reality comes and messes with you. You got to keep going.
No, this is what we talk about, adapting.
Yeah, it brings me back to see. We use sports a lot in here. It's not a sports podcast, but sports is a big part of who we are and our growth. And one thing I want to mention is, think of a coach who their goal is to make everyone better. Their goal is to believe in their players, build their players, not break their players, but also win. So a good coach will keep running the same play over and over until everybody executes the play and does their job. And I mentioned before, there is no Tom Brady at all. There is no GOAT if all those wide receivers didn't execute the play and catch those balls. So everybody coming together and doing everything. This guy has an assignment. This guy has an assignment. This guy has an assignment. When everyone does their job and everybody executes, that's when great things happen. And that's the moment where everyone can move on to the next play because you've mastered this. You've executed over and over for a consistent amount of times. So now it's a good time to move forward to the next project. We were talking about 50 things. It's okay to do 50 things if you've mastered 49.
For sure. That's a great point, man. And I was listening to one guy, and he was on the podcast, and he said, "It's not that I'm doing something extraordinary. I'm just doing the ordinary extra." And I do the ordinary extra.
Kenny Smith.
Yes, I do the ordinary extra. So I might be doing wings, but I just do them at a higher level. So now I'm looked at as being extraordinary just because I'm doing extra. Extraordinary is doing things more than someone else.
And something that I'm realizing too, especially like I be having more passion now, right? You talk to me, I'm just like super passionate. It feels like everything's happening at once, but when you look, you might not be able to see it like I see it. You know what I mean? But I'm just like, I'm letting everybody know, like, yo, it takes time. Like the moves that we put in 6 months ago, we're eating off that now.
Bam.
And the moves we're gonna put in now, we're gonna eat off that a year from now. Well, we're laying the foundation. You might not see it. You might not see me, but don't think that nothing's not happening. Because something's happening. And we're laying those bricks. And soon enough, man, you're gonna look up, you're gonna see a tower.
No, because sometimes when you're driving by a structure, or the lack of a structure, like when we went to the one guy's stuff and he was speaking, and he's like, I drove by the structure or whatever. I went by the area and they had trucks there, construction trucks. But I didn't see them doing anything.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't see them doing anything. And then I drove by it again and they were just there. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? And then I didn't go around there for about 6 months. And then he looked up and it's all the way up.
It's a bridge.
It's a bridge. What happened? Just because you ain't witnessing it doesn't mean it ain't taking place.
Absolutely.
Man, make sure you're putting that work in like clockwork.
It doesn't matter if they're clapping their hands.
Right.
And I'll tell you this, if anybody out there is only doing something to impress people, it's not going to go well. You have to do it because you want to do it, because you want to complete the task and you want to get that feeling of the day you started to the day you ended and completed the mission. So do it for you. Do it to be great in everything that you put your hands on.
And think about this. In life, you're going to have highs and lows. You're going to be in the middle. You're going to be at the beginning. You're going to be at the end. Some people have quit on their own life.
Yeah.
Right. I want to finish my life off strong. I came in here with a purpose and I ended it having it being completed. So everything in life you must complete. It ain't about if you start, because a lot of people start. And that's a hard thing to start. And I give you credit for starting, but I'm going to give you even more credit if you finish.
I love it. I feel like we could go forever. But you know what? I think we're going to call it here. There's another episode of Thrive Talks. Today we talked about newness. Next week we're going to talk about another topic. It's going to be another Thursday. Peace, man.
Peace.
Love y'all.